you need Botox. It wears off after 4 to 6 months. How can we make it more affordable for the patient so they don't have to pay upfront every time?
My special guest today is Dr. Neha and Marko, founder and owner of ShapeBy in Sweden.
And that led us to a subscription model. We wanted to feel kind of safe, but also a little bit exciting and like forward thinking.
And how was the impact onto your business then?
It rocketed. I mean, we did better than like most tech companies do the first year.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Fillers, lasers, and then they sign up for even more subscriptions.
How was the acceptance by the patients?
They are always saying, it feels like this treatment is for free because I don't have to pay anything. But, well, they do.
It's psychological.
But yeah, it's psychological.
My last question.
I was like, I need to go through some of your podcasts before this session. So on the plane, I was listening. I noticed this is your last question.
If you are an aesthetic injector, a nurse, a doctor, a dentist, or clinic owner, please sit back and relax. But remember, like every treatment, this podcast comes with a risk. You may end up becoming very successful. Thanks for being here.
For having us.
Great. So my first question is, what are the key steps in your clinic to make sure your patients have an extraordinary experience?
Well, it's quite broad, actually. We emphasize a lot on the entire patient journey from start to the end. And what we do is that we always start with a consultation, a virtual consultation, which is at least 2 days prior to the actual consultation. So
Every new patient or every patient?
every kind of new patient that hasn't been to our clinic for 6 months. So that's actually a gold rule and standard in Sweden that you have to do it. But that is very good because the patients feel very safe and they get to know you a bit before they start coming to the clinic. So what we do there is that they already have the contact with our patient coordinator and they get a confirmation about the booking. They have the consultation with one of our providers, digitally usually, or they can come into the clinic. So just from that moment when they have the booking, the entire journey starts. So during the consultation, the experience is that they feel very comfortable by talking to the provider. And usually you're very nervous when you do a treatment. So this is a good way of them to feel a bit more relaxed. They also get this form to fill out, a health declaration. So we do everything like digitally, so you don't have to sit in the clinic and do all the heavy forms.
Do you have a certain strategy to break the ice or to make them feel comfortable?
We have many strategies. I mean, we have tried everything, not only in the clinic. At certain points, we have YouTube channels, vlogs, everything just to let people know who we are. Like, we are humans as well. We are not strict doctors. You come to a neat clinic that like, everybody's quiet there. So we fool around in front of the camera. We show our personalities, which also makes the patients, when they come to us, they kind of know us.
Yeah.
It's like when we're watching you and your podcast and you're like, I feel like sometimes I know you. I follow you through your travels and everything. Yeah. So we try to incorporate all these kind of small steps so that they already feel a little bit more comfortable when they arrive. And also at the clinic, I mean, the first thing, like the most important person almost at the clinic is the first one that says hello to you with a huge smile and, comforts you. Like how the clinic is designed, if you have a certain smell.
Yes.
Like all these kind of details add up. And we try to, by just human psychology, I mean, even the music is important. So everything plays.
Even the way the patient coordinator or whatever the first patient, the first person is you in contact with, stand or sit makes a difference. We make sure they're standing, like eye-to-eye contact, right? But usually you see in medical practices that the nurses or PAs or whatever are sitting and looking up to the patients. And I don't think that's a good... psychological wise, not a good setting, right?
The one standing in the reception, we make sure that she or he gets out from the reception, so they can have this more physical and emotionally kind of like contact with, without that border. So the first thing that you actually do as a patient is that you come in and you get a cup of coffee, sit in the sofa, and not go directly straight to the reception. So that makes you feel more welcome in a warmer kind of environment.
That's funny with what you just said, that the person walks around the entrance area to take out everything which is distracting. What I did at the very beginning when I started off as a derm, I created tables with 2 legs here and only 1 leg here. So that ensures me that I had these rolling chairs, how do you name them? The chairs on wheels. So I could easily then switch over to the patient. So the patient, I have this or whatever. And I tend to not stay there. I move over, so I'm sitting right at the patient's...
the same with the reception. You're like, it's a barrier in between you.
Absolutely. And that's something I focus on in my consultations. I invest the first, and you probably do the same, the first 3 minutes into having some kind of a small talk. I have this CARE concept. I name it, CARE stands for, the C for create friendships, right? I would ask, where's your t-shirt from? Or, you're from this city. Oh, it's amazing. I've been there with my bicycle and there's this lovely church. Then we have something to talk about, and you will give me, and if the conversation goes well, you will tell me and share a lot about your life, and I make notes later and say, okay, she has a dog, she has 2 kids. So next time I have something to rely on. Say, how are you? How's your dog, by the way? I think these are simple steps to make patients feel connected to you, right?
And as we were talking about the reception part, when you have a happy patient already from there, you know that you will have a happy patient in the end, no matter how the result is or whatever, because they actually pay to come for an experience, not just to get a result. So that makes my work easier as a practitioner. If everything runs smoothly from start, I will have a happier patient in the end. And exactly as you said, we do the same in the treatment room. We don't have this desk in between. We have this rolling kind of chair. And I always try to sit a little bit lower than the patient, actually. And we have this small talk from the start. And I'm always asking, like, what kind of lifestyle the patient has. Like, what do you do for a living? Do you have animals, or the t-shirt part that you asked about? Because that opens up for further discussions. And they're always so happy afterwards when they come back. They're like, oh, you remember that I had a dog, for example.
We do that in every step. Even the receptionist will write down, like, this person maybe likes 2 pieces of sugar in her coffee. Next time it will come when she comes. So depends on if you're a new patient. If you're recurring, then we added layers to welcoming you as well in every step.
How do you make it happen that your entire team is heading in the same direction, obviously having the same goals and same visions, that the patient is number one and that the patient experience is so core? We do it as well, and I focus on that. But once I'm on holiday for 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure things drop again, or someone of our leading team. It's how do you manage to maintain this mentality of patient-centric treatment and experience?
By not going on vacation. No, I mean, it's like with everything, consistency is key, and follow-up. I mean, if you don't do your part of the follow-up, then the person below you won't do their follow-up. You always have to be held accountable at some point. And just reminding, people are not doing stuff because they don't care or they want to. I mean, all these little things add up to many things, of course. And then, of course, you forget.
Do you have these regular meetings, though?
Yes. That's what we have. We have a clinic manager also who runs these kind of meetings, which we are in also. Every week, there's one general meeting for everyone. And then once a month, we have those kind of brain trust meetings, which are
like the management speaking to like
Yeah.
how was the finances, how we do the marketing, like
Reminding of our core values. But the actual thing starts from the recruiting process, because the recruiting is the most important like step to recruit the right person.
I agree.
And our recruiting process is quite tough. We have like 4 steps for each one of them before like we decide to go for someone. And the main thing there is also about who are you as a person? Will you ever be able to share the values that we have, or will you always be like on the same line?
Interesting. How do you do that? What are the 4 steps?
Yeah.
making mistakes, learning from them, making mistakes.
We have steps as well. We check the, I'll share mine first if you want, briefly. We check the documents, of course, right? I always check on how is the first communication. And I'll give you an example. We were searching for someone in a leading position, and we had 2 candidates, and I sent out an email to them with suggestions of dates where we can have a Zoom call. And I think I ask them to respond to our COO, not respond to me, respond to the COO with the chosen date.
Just so people who read the email.
Candidate number 1, exactly. Candidate number 1 responded to the COO, had me CC, so I know that's done. Candidate number 2 just pressed answer to me with a date. I mean, sure, it's not a big deal. I can move it forward to our COO. It's, if you have 140 people, you get nuts if you have to think for everyone to fulfill their job and their work and don't miss steps and, So that was one thing. I always call references because just for the simple fact, sometimes people just don't have a reference, right? And then, or they're giving funny reference and we'll say, why are you 2 references your colleagues and not the boss? And I have a funny story about that, but I won't share it here. And then because it's and then we have them for shadow days, and then we have another interview, and even on important positions we do personality tests. And I agree on there's this claim, hire slowly, fire fast, and I think that's very, very true. And so I'm interested about what are your steps, or maybe the key steps in this recruiting process. What are you focusing most on?
We have 2 different ways to go. The first one is, you can tell me.
I mean, we always start with a phone interview. Of course, they send in our applications, we read through them and see, okay, this is a role, or this person might fit this role. So we call them. That's the first step, just to see mentality and so on. And if you like them, then we call them in for a physical interview, of course. If it's a practitioner, somebody's going to inject, it's always our COO and Neha. Because we also have a third step, which is actually practical.
Yeah.
Because we have had like injectors that have been injecting for 5-6 years. The first thing they come and like put the needle on the table.
Sure.
Like contaminate directly, and like, so we need to understand, okay, what kind of level they are. Will it be easier to teach somebody that's new, or like, but that's for the practitioner. So it's kind of 3 steps, and afterwards, if all the steps are okay, then we kind of rate them as well.
Okay.
According to like personality wise, knowledge wise, because they ask them like, okay, how good are your anatomical skills? So, and we rate, okay, how was the humidity? It's not humidity, humility. And how down to earth they are. We have some like we grade them and see, okay, but this fits our profile. This is what we want, and then we do a background check. So there's no.
What is important there is that it can be a completely green person, like a person who has never injected before. I'm totally fine with that. But what I would like to see on that level is how prepared are you? As you were talking about the email thing. Are you prepared for this kind of like interview, or do you just see this as a fun thing? And have you studied any anatomy, or have you studied anything about what Botox is, what filler is, or do you see this as an opportunity to just, that I'm going to tell you everything? And also, as Marcus said about the, how do you hold like a syringe. How do you hold a needle? Do you put it on the table and it gets contaminated and then stick it into a patient?
Absolutely.
Like, so those are like basic things that you think, oh, you should know that if you're a nurse or a doctor. But sometimes you meet...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Still meet people who do it differently. Well, what I do, I have these kind of two buckets. It's basically the same. One bucket is technical, all the certificates, how is their knowledge about anatomy. But then I have another bucket called it the interpersonal skills. And I think they are super, super important, right? If I had to choose to either take someone who has brilliant interpersonal skills, but maybe hasn't learned that much so far on the technical level, I would rather pick this person and teach him the rest instead of picking the best injector.
You cannot teach personality, but you can teach a craft.
Yeah, true. That's so true.
Yeah.
And also, if you hire the wrong person who doesn't have that personality or is negative in some kind of way, that can lead to like a chain in the entire team, put like negativity in the entire team. So that's why it's the most important thing is the personal perspective.
I agree. 100%.
And it's difficult growing a company. I mean, every new person makes the constellation of the group total. Like now you landed in your like 5-6 people, then you add another one, and then like it's so difficult.
And by growing, you will realize that each step needs totally different skills. And it's very, very difficult. It's a long, long, long method. And also when we were talking about hiring in regards of firing, the best thing is if you see the person is a super fit, and sometimes you're quite sure after a short while, and that's a perfect hit. But sometimes you feel this person is not fitting in the team, and then you might have a conversation with them and might have a second one or third. But there is this point where you exactly feel it won't work. Now, we had 2 conversations. I tried to explain you twice how to do it, and you're still failing. And then many clinic owners or whoever is in decision wait too long. They make a 5th conversation, another one. And the problem here is it's affecting the entire team, and it might poison the entire team. And then once you lose this one person, another 3 are leaving. So I tend to, when you spot the problem, act early enough to not make it a disaster in the end.
Yeah, that's completely true.
I mean, we have learned that the hard way as well. To be honest, I mean, you always want to be nice. The human side of you wants to, like, I can turn this person into something else, and you try, but sometimes it's just not working. Yeah, you have to realize that it's not maybe meant to be.
Yeah. And the next thing you will discover on the journey when you grow, you come to the point where other people taking your position, let's say HR, and they should do that. And then you figure out, then you have this challenge to either let go and say, okay, it's their part, and then see they're running exactly into the same things again. Or you make the decision, but then they can be, well, listen, you hired me, and I'm whatever, the lead of or head of XYZ. So that's sometimes very, very difficult to find a good balance of letting them do, or still stepping in and say, listen, we've done the same mistake now already in the past 20 years, twice or 3 times. So let's avoid it. But it's challenging. Coming back to patient's experience and environment, and both of you know I'm a big, big fan of this entire, we even have this restaurant, everything is designed the way we think it's a good fit and make patients feel comfortable. We have a room fragrance, we have tiny chocolates. I own magazine, you just see. What is your opinion on that? How do you structure your environment? Do you have a design concept? Do you have certain topics you focus mainly on? Is it the cup of coffee or tea which makes the main difference?
There's several things.
I mean, everything from the design. We wanted to feel, we didn't want it to feel like a hospital, like clean, just white. We wanted, because most of our patients are millennials as well, as are we.
Yeah.
We wanted to feel kind of safe,
yeah,
but also a little bit exciting and like forward thinking. We with everything we do. We want to be like ahead. We always look at other industries. I mean,
Agree.
yeah, I mean, there's a big financial institution or company in Sweden called Klarna. I don't know if you've heard of it here in Sweden, but they do payments. Boring, right? But they brought in Snoop Dogg as an investment. They call it smooth payments. They have like pink colors. Like they made it like look fun. Like you want to be a part of this. So we try to draw inspiration from others where they have succeeded in like making something maybe that's in our case maybe scary, because everybody's nervous when they come. Try to make them feel comfortable, but also not too comfortable. We are mostly focused on treatments that give results. So it's not, we don't do nails and stuff like that. So we don't want that spa-ish feeling, but we will still want to like calm them down. So both with the design, with the music,
So the design that we focus on, we have shapes in our design, like colorful shapes.
As in your name.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our actual brand with, we have 3 or 4 different types of colors. So we didn't want to make it like black, not white or something like that, like just colorful, but still very calming to the senses. So that we have in our like newer clinics, we have the shapes on the walls. We have lights that symbolizes the shapes. Even the mirrors are formed as those shapes. So that is mainly one thing in the environment part. And
that's a brand.
Yeah.
That's not a logo, it's a brand. You are distinctive compared to others, right?
Yeah, we always stick to like also how to communicate and how all these kind of things is kind of our brand profile. We want to stick to within a certain limit. So we want to feel safe. We want to feel professional. We want to feel exciting, like these kind of keywords. We want to feel like that. Yeah.
And then we have another thing after the treatment, which is our signature.
Our next topic. That's good. Go ahead.
After the treatment, as our signature thing, we always give out a collagen shot.
Yeah.
And it comes in what's it called? Like a glass medical kind of...
like the chemist works here, this kind of thing. So it's
that's interesting. Like in the restaurant, like this.
Yeah, kind of that.
Yeah, or the serum kind of thing that you put in like as a cream.
Yeah.
So we give out collagen shots in those, and people are like, "Oh, what is this?" So we always tell, like as a practitioner, always tell the patient, just go out and sit down. You will get all the help you need. Don't go straight to the reception.
Yeah.
As many people do. They just want to go to reception and pay and leave. That's not the thing here. They go out, they get their collagen shot, everyone takes a snap of it, and then puts it on social media. And it's just a simple thing, but it's a collagen shot after your treatment. So it's not just before you get something, you also get something afterwards. And that is rememberable for the patients.
And I think the touch point after the treatment is one important, because it's, I always try to get another connection with the patient. Is it a new treatment? Is it making them signing up for the newsletter or having a treatment plan, right? Because retaining patients are much better and much cheaper and much more cost efficient and much more profitable than gaining new patients. And I think that's a real power in our industry. We can retain patients compared to plastic surgeons. Usually they have one big surgery and then don't see the patient again for years. We can set up treatment plans. And so that's the core topic of today, or one of the very core topics. You guys managed to implement a subscription model. Would you like to talk about that a little bit? How does it work?
I mean, that's also based on like the world or the situation we are living in. For us, it felt like a normal next step.
Yeah.
How can we also help our providers? Because in general, healthcare professionals, they're not salespeople either. Even though the job is to maybe recommend all the things, but they always have on top of their mind, oh, this will cost maybe too much for this patient. I will not recommend it. then they are doing a disfavor to the patient. They're like, your job is from a medical point of view or aesthetic point of view to tell them what they need. The patient's job is then to see, okay, this is my budget, and then let's work through a plan, right? So one of the reasons also was to like, okay, but our attention, or we looked at, okay, how many times does a patient visit us during a year, like a normal patient? And we got it to like 1.6 times a year, right? We felt, okay, what can we do to increase this? Like, because beauty is not a one-time thing. Like, it's like going to the gym. You won't get swole after one session. You have to maintain it all the time. Exactly. And this is a big problem, I think, in our industry because, treatments are pricey. And also the situation we are in now, people, save for food and other stuff, housing and not treatment. So we try to find a way where we can combine these, where we can, help people fulfill their beauty needs in full, not just, tapping small holes here and there, but just pave a new road. And that led us to a subscription model. We started with toxins, I think. And then we practically grew this with kind of every treatment that we think can follow this kind of rules with certain time in between. So it's like a rolling plan.
So what else is it besides?
We have toxin, we have fillers, we have laser hair removal, tattoo removal, we have a machine called U-laser, so it's skin rejuvenation, fractional laser, stuff like that. So depend on which treatment it is, the package is a little bit different. Sometimes we are looking at how many, for example, fillers. We look at how many milliliters and visits you get during this period.
During a 12 months period.
Yeah. When it comes to laser hair removal, it's just pay as like monthly fee, and when you're happy, you're like. So if you have, bikini, then you have it for until you're satisfied and you stop paying it.
Like, for example, when it comes to Botox, which we started with, it's like you need Botox. It wears off after 4 to 6 months, right? So what we were thinking was, how can we make it more affordable for the patient so they don't have to pay upfront every time? Because what happens then is that they will wait 1 year until they come back next time. So they pay a monthly fee, which is, let's say $100 per month. And then when they come for their treatment, they get their treatment done, like 3 zones of Botox, for example, for the forehead, crow's feet, and the glabella. And then they automatically, when they leave the clinic, they will have their next appointment in, let's say, 4 months.
Because they don't care. It's the process.
Exactly. So they have their next time, and that's a benefit for them because they know that, okay, I know I have to go there in 4 months. They can leave their wallet at home. They don't have to pay anything up front. So after 4 months, they come back, and this just rolls on like for 12 months, and then a new period. So you have your 3 to 4 treatments per year, and you just pay a monthly fee for that.
And do patients then compare what it would cost if they would come twice per year for this area and what it adds up?
And this is a calculation we did. So from going to 1.6 visits per year, with the help of Boomerang, which we call the subscription model, we have gone to 3.6 visits.
Okay.
So what does that do? It builds loyalty, right? We see our patients treat almost 3 times more per year, which also gave us the opportunity, okay, if we got 1.6 times this money, but now they're coming 3.5 times, then we can also reduce the price for them because now we don't have to have this margin because we'll have them several times, right? So the purpose is not only making money on this. When you have them visiting you more often, you build a relationship, you talk about new things, maybe they'll buy a product next time, maybe they'll want to invest in something else. Just giving them the opportunity to come more times also gives us opportunity to help them several times.
And they open up for other treatments. So what we always do is like we recommend new treatments, and they actually do more treatments then. So it doesn't end up that they only do Botox then, fillers, lasers, and then they sign up for even more subscriptions that we have.
And how? When did you start to implement the subscription model, and how was the acceptance by the patients? Were they keen taking it, or were they cautious?
It rocketed. I mean, we did better than like most tech companies do the first year.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was a timing also, but just in general, everybody wants subscription. Now you can get subscriptions for cars. I don't like everybody wants the low monthly payment that don't affect you that much. You don't think about it. And when you come, you feel relaxed. I already pay for this. Then if they want to buy something else, they buy it. If they don't want it.
And how was the impact onto your business then? So your business grew like what? Because of the subscription model only?
There's difficulty from a financial perspective as well because they don't pay upfront.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't earn your money the first month or second month. Maybe the third month you're break even because you're the one giving the free product, right? And then they'll pay next month maybe $80, but your product costs more than $80. Your time, your employees, everything costs.
But how could you go for a subscription model, come for the treatment, and then quit a week later?
Yeah, but then we have like in the terms, of course, it's like we don't have a period. You have to be here for 12 months. I pay it. The only thing is like if you end it after 1 month, then you just pay for the treatment you did, like normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our subscription is always a little bit cheaper. Sometimes much. Sometimes it's almost 50% cheaper. This is because we get them 3 times more. So it doesn't, in the long run, we will earn more.
Get it.
So what is good with that is like in uncertain times, like nowadays, for example, you always have a recurring revenue. And you know that, okay, we have these patients who are coming, and patients, they love it. They really love it because they are always saying, it feels like this treatment is for free.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to pay anything. But, well they do.
It's psychological.
But yeah, it's psychological. And that's what they say. They're like, oh, it feels so good. And they also feel like they're a member of something because we call it Boomerang membership. So we humans are like that. We like to be in a group, and they feel like...
Absolutely. We'd love to belong to a network.
Yeah.
And do you have this kind of loyalty program then, or something else?
Yes. We have
on top of this?
We have sometimes some extra perks when it comes to if you're a Boomerang member. It can be like, for example, you can get discount on fillers for this month if you are a Boomerang Botox member, for example. You can get reduced prices on other treatments.
And how you handle it with fillers? So if I'm interested in the filler subscription model, how do you handle that? Is it per syringe, or is it?
You get you have was it 4 or 5 different? So it's based on milliliters and visits.
Yeah.
So let's say you buy you subscribe to our 4 milliliter filler program, right? Then you come the first time and you do all the 4 milliliters because I mean it's easy to do 4 milliliters on anybody. The other perk they have, next time, they have a free visit. So they have 3 more visits that is included.
To meet your doctor.
Yes. So the next time they come, every syringe or a milliliter costs much less than 50% than it would if you just, let's say if you come to us to a teardrop or something, maybe that's $500. For a Boomerang member, that's already wasted their 4 milliliters or something else, I don't know, cheeks or jaw, I don't know, whatever it might be. Next time they come, they'll pay $250.
Okay.
For the nose or for the temples or for the one syringe. So it's half.
So they have included in the subscription model is a certain amount of visits and syringes, and everything on top he gets for a very affordable
good
price.
Yeah.
But that's super attractive for us, right?
I mean, yeah, it's a different way of thinking. I mean, there's this way of thinking where we are pricey if you come for 1 milliliter.
Yeah.
Because we like the more holistic approach. We'll make it like super affordable if you come regularly, and we can maintain these results because you are marketing us as well, right? It's like when you look fresh, we are happy.
Absolutely.
so we try not to get into the business of just filling in small holes.
Sure.
Like that's why also, I mean that's another strategy from other clinics. Well, you want to just get them to the door with the first milliliter that's cheap, and then build the relationship and loyalty. That's also a strategy. I mean, I'm not saying one of them is wrong or right. This is just the way.
No, of course. So
We have built our philosophy.
do all the models sell the same, or do they all sell well? Or would you say, okay, Botox is running super well, but people who are in the fillers or laser removal, they're more cautious. That's not running that well, or is it all treatments are selling well through?
It's different because we started each subscription different types. So of course the best one is right now Botox because that was the first like setup.
I would say, I mean, Botox definitely first because we had it almost a year with nothing else. It was the only one. But now we are getting more and more. We're also focusing more on treatments with machines as well.
Yeah.
Because those are like tattoo removal. We just got the machine now. So, and we're seeing that I believe that this is going to be a real hit because you don't have to think about it. You pay as you go, monthly small fee.
Yeah.
I think it's like $50. You get rid of your tattoo and you stop when you want. There's nothing to pay us back either.
Yeah.
So I think these will grow with time. But of course, it kind of is related with time. Yeah. Maybe skin treatments, like all those visible things, are easier, right? Yeah. So tattoo, it's gone. Also with hair, it's there and it's gone after a while. It's done. Botox, you see the effect. It's really easy. When it comes to skin, it takes 3 to 6 months to 9 months to see the end result. And there always you have that doubt. Is it working? Is it not? So I think those kind of treatments are a little bit harder to do.
Is Botox, does Botox needs to be prescribed in Sweden from a doctor? Okay, that's interesting. Have you checked on the legal situation? I'm just thinking of how it would be in Switzerland, or if maybe the authorities would say, well, you can't sell Botox on a subscription model or something like this.
We always want to keep the ethical side as well. It's not that you can come here every week and get Botox.
Sure.
No. It is a time frame. It has to at least be 4 months in between.
Yeah.
So all our contract, depending on what kind of treatment it is, we put the ethical side on. Like we won't do even fillers. If we think you are too filled, no, we won't do it. Even if you have this subscription model, doesn't matter. Like we never compromise on that. So when it comes to specifically Botox, it has to go 4 months in between. Hell, if we see that somebody's still has no movement, come in a month or two again. Like you have paid for up to 4 a year, right? Yeah. But it might be 2.
Yeah.
But that's why the pricing is also really important because our pricing is around 2.
Yeah.
Which
so nobody would complain.
If you want to come 2 times a year, here you get ability to do 1 more if you would need it for the same price. So we never like the medical safety is number 1. Of course, this is just more easy to patients to actually fulfill the beauty plan. Like because when you come and you have to pay $3,000 or something like that.
Sure, it's a huge amount.
But if you split it into 12 months, maybe it's affordable, and you will actually do it and you will feel better because, I mean, even if $500, I mean, it's a lot of money to inject and the patient is not happy because, like, realistically, 1 milliliter, it's nothing.
Absolutely. No, I'll get it.
That is also like the ethical part. When it comes to the legal part, you're supposed to prescribe it.
Yeah.
But when you deliver the Botox, that's actually a service.
Yeah.
So that is 100% like legal to do as answer to your question. So that works because you're not giving out the toxin. You're actually giving the service that you have.
No, I get it.
But as Marko said, it is we have this time frame. You can't have it like every week.
Yeah.
You, of course, medical perspective and safety comes first.
Yeah.
So it's every 4 months.
But again, coming back to the fillers, I haven't 100% understood it yet. I come to your clinic, say, okay, I want fillers in a subscription model. I sign the contract. I'm having an appointment with you next week, and you give me like 4 mils, right? And 2 weeks, I'm happy, it's all good. 2 weeks later, I skip the contract.